Hi guys, it's Dorian, the Anti-Bridezilla. I'm back again with a really quick video. Today's video is actually going to be just some quick swatches. So in my last post that I put up, I was actually doing coverage of Pantone's Color of the Year, and I mentioned that the makeup look that I had was inspired by Kevyn Aucoin. So I actually got a lot of requests outside of the YouTube universe asking me to do some swatches of those palettes that I received. So if you didn't get the chance to check out an article that I did where I did test drives of one of the palettes. So today we're just going to be covering all four of them really quickly, and then I'm also obviously since I'm doing swatches, I will also have my micellar water, and today's micellar water is actually from Herborian, which is a pretty interesting brand. They're French, but they incorporate a lot of Korean beauty concepts in them, and it's just very hydrating, very easy to use, and I definitely recommend, if not this, just make sure again that you pick something that is very hydrating. So let's just go ahead and hop right into these swatches. So like I mentioned, Kevyn Aucoin, I am actually an influencer with them. They sent me all four of their Emphasize Eye Design palettes. So this is the Emphasize Eye Design palette, and they have four different looks that basically went with certain color schemes. And the one that I actually had on was called Focused in the last video, and I'll be sure to include that link down below. So we're gonna go ahead and just get started. So what's interesting about these palettes is that they're actually a combination of, and as you can see here, they're actually a combination of powder shadows as well as a chrome, like a liquid chrome. So they're actually pretty cool. I did love just the way that they function, the way that these are great colors that go with each other. This particular palette is called Unblinking. And so you see, which is really nice, it includes the names of the actual individual shades as well as the name of the chrome shade. So let's just go ahead and get into this, and hopefully this will be a video that goes much less than some of my other ones have been, which have been a little long. So something I love about Kevyn Aucoin is that their shadows are really finely milled, and I mentioned this briefly in my last video, but finely milled just means that something is ground down very well so that you tend to get minimal fallout, and it just makes it easier for blending, and it just also means you're kind of using less product and you're still able to get a really great look. Something else that I love about Kevyn's shadows is that they're actually really well pigmented. So even if you're somebody who has darker skin tones like myself, colors still show up on you, and that's something that I have found sometimes in other brands is not the case, and that could be really frustrating because then obviously you're not able to get, you know, the same level of color and opacity, if that's a word, as people who are fairer skin tones can get. So we're just gonna go ahead and show you these swatches. So I'm gonna try to do this in a way that you guys can actually see. So here you see all of the colors. Well, I'll do it this way. Here you see all of the colors from the Kevyn Aucoin for this Unblinking. So Unblinking, we have, this is the chrome, which is here. It's a very pretty shade. And then we have from the pale to, we have two metallics as well, and then a dark, which would be great for a smoky eye. So I think this would actually be a beautiful smoky eye style. So hopefully you guys can see that. And of course I will also take pictures of all of this, so you guys will be able to see pictures as well. And I'll include like a really quick roundup on my site, so you guys will see that as well. Okay, so our next palette from, which is within the same palette family, but the different version. This is the Focus. This is the one that I was actually wearing on my last video, which was more, whereas the other one that I just showed, which is, sorry, I forget these names, Unblinking, where Unblinking was more neutral. Focused is definitely more about metallic and gold, and just a little bit more richer and warmer. So let's just really quickly, I'll show you in the palette. So this is the palette for Focused, and the colors that I was wearing in the last video are this pretty metallic shade. I did use this brown for my crease, and then I used this pale taupe as my all over base for my lid, and then I definitely did use the chromatic shade for the inner side of my, or the inner half of my eyelid, and it was just a really beautiful look overall. It was also really easy to do. So here we have the colors from Kevyn Aucoin for the Focused palette. So again, We have the chrome shade is here, which as you can see, it's very, very bold and vivid. Something I actually found, so you may not have been able to see if I'm in here. When you're using these chrome palettes, it actually does have like a doe tipped applicator, but I found that that was honestly too big and too thick to use on your actual eyelid, depending on how big your eyelid is, I guess. So something that I found that was easier for me to do was to actually just use like a very small, almost like a liner brush, and use that to kind of tap in color, just because it was much easier and it was more precise versus using the doe applicator that came with this. So again, we have these colors, which I'm going to do it this way so you guys can see, and hopefully you see that very well. These are the colors that were in this focus palette, and it's interesting that this shade here actually comes out a little bit more chromatic and paler than it looks in the pan, but these are all just really beautiful colors that I think would look great on a variety of skin tones. So we are halfway through my swatches of Kevyn Aucoin's Emphasize Eye Design palette, and we're going to continue on with Platinum. Now Platinum, which I have here, as you can see, is more of a violet focused palette. So we have actually 3 shimmer shades, although this one is very highly glitter, but these 3 shades here are also glitter shades. And then we have a really pretty, it's almost like an icy purple. So this is pretty interesting. I'll be really honest, this is probably a palette I typically would not go for on my own, just because of the fact that it's a color I don't normally wear in terms of eyeshadow. But I think if you're an adventurous person, you're gonna love the way this is gonna look. So let's just go ahead and start swatching. Alright, so we now have the swatches of Magnify, and I have to be honest, this really drew me by surprise. I would have not really originally gone for this. I'm glad I actually swatched this, because this would have been something that would have sat in my makeup collection for who knows how long. So I'll be honest, the chromatic shade is pretty, but it's not for me. But what I'm loving here is this color here, which is actually, oh gosh, Kaleidoscope. So this color, like in the pan, it's pretty, but it didn't really move me. But when I put it on, just the color on that and the way that it has like some prismatic effect, there's a little bit of blue in it, there's some fuchsia, this is really beautiful. And I have to say, this is the second time Kevyn Aucoin has made me rethink purple. In fact, I have, because I still use my highlight, I use like a purplish highlight, which is called, it's called Ibiza from Kevyn Aucoin. It's the Neo Limelight highlighter. And originally I was very concerned I wasn't going to like that either, but it's pretty good. So this is actually beautiful. And again, another thing, this black is really black. And that's something for me that's a really big deal. I don't wear black eyeshadow as much as I used to, but with me it was always an issue of it would end up looking gray on me. But this black, as you can see, I'll come back again, that's a true black. So that's really beautiful. So Magnify, I'm gonna have to definitely do a makeup look that includes the Magnify palette and see how these shades actually look, because this shade, Kaleidoscope, is beautiful. Just a really, really beautiful shade. Alright, so we are up to our last palette from the Emphasize Eye Design palette. This one is called As Seen In, and it is actually a blue focused palette. Oh no, it is not. It is actually kind of like a neutral with a little bit of violet, so excuse me. And it's pretty. So let me just show this to you really quickly as I'm cleaning everything off. So this is the palette. We have a copper shade of a chrome foil cream shadow, and then we actually only have 2 glitter / shimmer shades, and then the rest are very neutral. So this is something where honestly, and I could honestly say about all the palettes that I've tested out today, they all allow for you to have something of a little bit of a neutral with a little pop of color, so you don't have to feel overdone. And these are great ways to kind of either have a day to night look or even just a really pretty smoky eye. Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch these, and then we can check it out. And just in case anybody always wonders why I'm doing swatches on my arm with my tattoo and just taking up real estate, I'm left-handed, so it's much easier for me to use my left hand, even for something as simple as dipping your finger into color and putting it on your skin. So if you don't like my tattoo, too bad, but this is just easier for me, I found over the years. So here is the final palette, As Seen In. which is definitely more, I would say, violet slash rusty with this last shade. I do like some of the colors, but it feels really similar to Focused and one of the other one that had other neutral shades. So the chrome shade here, it's pretty, for my skin tone, I'm not as in love with it. I think maybe in moderation, I would obviously never wear it with as much product as I've put on here, but it's very pretty. This purplish shade is called Amethyst, and then the final shade is called Sangria, although it's more brown than red or whatever. So I think Amethyst and Sangria are the two colors that I love the most, just because Sangria would be a great accent for your outer corners or even for a crease. And obviously the Amethyst just adds a really pretty prismatic bit of color there, so I think that's really beautiful. So that is everything that I have for these Kevyn Aucoin Emphasize Eye Design palettes. These are a little pricey. If you're curious, I will definitely include price information in the video that comes along with this, because I don't know it off the top of my head right now. I don't want to quote a price in a video and be wrong. So definitely include these. What I will say is that even though Kevyn Aucoin is a pricier brand, I think that for the quality of the product, the fact that you don't get a lot of fallout, the fact that the color goes a long way, makes it something that's actually great value for price. So definitely, obviously you don't need to get all four like I have here, because that's kind of unnecessary unless you're just a makeup hoarder like that. But I think definitely getting a few Kevyn Aucoin pieces is a great way to go. I have a number of items from them. I have concealers, highlight, other eyeshadows, and full disclosure, like I said, I am an influencer for them, so obviously I'm getting it for the price of free. But I think that you definitely would love what you're going to get with these guys. So that's everything for me with swatches. Again, if you didn't get the chance, check out my other videos are about the Pantone color of the year. Definitely check out my website for more of my beauty coverage and content in that respect. I will be back soon with some Valentine's Day inspired makeup, since it is literally around the corner. So if you get the chance, definitely come by, check it out, subscribe, like, comment. Definitely follow me on Instagram if you get the chance. And for sure, follow me on my website, theantibridezilla.com. And thank you guys so much. Bye.